It has been raining all week if you're in Gauteng, South Africa. And it didn't disappoint. At the FNB Stadium, it was raining goals. Wow. It was raining goals. A 5-goal thriller. Yep. That's what we witnessed at the FNB Stadium. But let's also introduce a bit of context as well. In that Kaizer Chiefs has been on a winning streak, and SuperSport on the other side has been on a losing streak, 6-game losing streak. And yeah, it was going to be one of those difficult, awkward games for both teams. There's also a lot of history between the two teams, with SuperSport having 2 of the former Kaizer Chiefs players on the starting lineup. And the players had a lot to prove to their former teams. Also, the head coach of SuperSport, being a former mentor of Kaizer Chiefs and having had a rather disappointing end to his Kaizer Chiefs tenure. So whenever he's facing the Amakhosi team, he always has a lot to prove. And it becomes personal. So that's what we experienced. But a beautiful game overall. A 5-goal thriller, like we said. And let's look at the key players that we're also monitoring. Our key cocoa melons that we're monitoring, who took part in this game. So we're looking at Mdusha Balala, Do Like I Do. We're also looking at Obrigado, Umfundo Vilakazi. They both had stints in this game, and we'll have a proper breakdown for them later on this video. But we'll start firstly with the technical analysis of the game. And here it goes. So Kaizer Chiefs deployed a 4-4-2 diamond formation. And SuperSport on the other side deployed a 3-5-2 formation, which when it's defending, it'll fall back into a 5-3-2 formation, which is the classical given hand structure. But let's dig deeper into the technical analysis. So we'll start with the Kaizer Chiefs technical analysis. The first point we want to make is the inadequate in-game adaptation. A lot of big English, but what do you mean by that? The team entered with a plan but failed to adjust tactics to the evolving match situations. So as things changed during the match, the team failed to adjust to those changes. An example of that is when SuperSport were playing long balls and running behind our defense. We failed to stay compact and we failed to read that early so that we adjust our structures as the Kaizer Chiefs team. The second point we want to raise is defensive organizational lapses. So Kaizer Chiefs lacked compactness, leaving gaps that SuperSport exploited through transition and space behind the fullbacks. And the third point we want to raise is ineffective wide play and pressing. Kaizer Chiefs missed a lot of opportunities for wide overloads and high pressing, limiting support from players like Sereno, Frostline, and Cross. Then the fourth point we want to raise is the midfield vulnerabilities. We saw it today. The change for Mart was due to suspension for Zwane. But that resulted in insufficient support for the front line as Mart was struggling under pressure, and Sereno's poor decision-making as well. And then the last point is the suboptimal personnel and substitution. So the loss of key attacking talent like Modi being substituted early on before it was even half-time, and the lineup choices hindered control, especially during transition. So when we saw Mart and Cross come in, there were a bit of fears from the Amakhosi faithfuls around that lineup. But those changes later Nabi stated that the players were tired. Hence those substitution, and he mentioned that could have been made more substitution if it was possible. But looking at the Supersport side, compact defensive structure, they maintained a disciplined and a tight shape that restricted spaces for Amakhosi. That's the first point I want to raise. The second one is effective transition play. They were on fire. Nurkovic, Saile, with that pace, and Lungu, they were on fire. They were on fire. And the third point is around exploitation behind of the fullbacks, of the Amakhosi fullbacks. So they constantly targeted the area behind the opposition's fullbacks with precision, and they were getting a lot of joy from Brittle Cross side as well. The midfield dominance. So that 5 players in the midfield, it congested that midfield and made it difficult for Kaizer Chiefs to play. Though Saile did phenomenal, but he just didn't have enough space. So that midfield dominance by Supersport was created both in and out of possession and limiting Chiefs' creativity options. Then the last point here is on technical discipline. They executed a well-organized game plan, pressing intelligently, staying true to their strength throughout the match. So they didn't try to match Kaizer Chiefs and press Kaizer Chiefs, but they remained organized. So that's a technical analysis. We'll move on now into the player focus, looking at Dusha Balala and looking at Vilakazi. Now turning our attention to our cocoa melons. We'll start off with Do Like I Do, Dusha Balala. Du came on the first half in place of Modi. And he went on to play 52 minutes. It was a difficult game in that Kaizer Chiefs was chasing the game throughout. But Du did relatively well. Didn't impact the game much, but he had 2 shots on that game. He had 2 shots. Didn't score any goals or any assist. But yeah, it was an okay game for him. And keep your head up. Do continue to shine. Let's also look at Umfundo Vilakazi. Obrigado. Coming from a good win over Chippa United and high in confidence. Now coming into a game where Kaizer Chiefs is already behind by 3 goals to 1. It's always going to be difficult. So Mfundo didn't have much impact on the game, as the team already was on a red card, with Sereno having been given a second yellow. So there were one player down. So it was a difficult moment for Obrigado to come through. But he did fairly okay and continue to shine, Abukoko Melons. All right, so share with us your thoughts on the comment section. Is Nabi still cooking? The master chef himself. But yeah, a very difficult game. If we were to sum it up, we'd say that we saw some very bad refereeing there. It looked to some extent that the referee didn't manage the game properly. Bad weather conditions. It was raining heavily and didn't suit the Kaizer Chiefs style of wanting to play direct passes and varying passes as well. So yeah, difficult playing conditions for both teams, we should say. And yeah, and the Kaizer Chiefs lineup was just not connecting. Was just not connecting. But from a super sport side, a well executed game plan, utilizing the strengths of Nurkovic and Saile as they lead the attack. A very organized defensive structure and congestion of that middle field to break the Kaizer Chiefs play. And a tactical masterclass from Gavin Hunt. And congratulations to them on that first win and breaking that winless run. So show us your thoughts on the comments below. What did you make of the game? What's your analysis of the game? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel as we'll be creating more content and tracking our Bokuko melons.